Hi everybody, it's Irene with BrainStormAcres, and the question today is, we have rhubarb, now what do we do with it? How do we take care of it? If you've been following our gardening extravaganza this spring, you'll know that a couple of weeks ago I moved this plant, and I moved its siblings over here too. But it's come through really rather well. But there's something happening that happens to this plant every spring, and that is it's trying to make flowers, and we don't want it to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be cutting these flowers out of here. Now, I have been told by some people that these are awesome in flower arrangements, but you know, I'm not growing for flower arrangements right now. And what I just did here was I trimmed off a dead leaf. There is always a little transplant shock, but what I really want to pull out is these guys here. Now, some people can actually seem to pull them out. I have never had luck with that, so I just cut mine out as far down to the bottom as I can. And this plant always puts out, so it's not just the transplant shock or anything like that. This plant always puts out these. Now, I have friends who say that their rhubarbs almost never make flowers. Cool. I don't know whether it's the variety or what, but mine always do. So every spring I get in here and I chop them off. This year it seems like we have a few more than usual, and that could be because we transplanted, but I don't think so. I think it's just because it's spring. So I'm going to get all these out of here. I suspect some of these other things are going to turn into flowers too, but I don't want to over trim. I'm out here every day pretty much taking a peek at everybody, so I will just make sure that no flowers bloom. As the stuff comes up, as it starts to obviously become a flower, I'm going to chop it back. Now, I'm also going to get a couple of these crummy looking leaves out of here. And we're not going to harvest much on this plant this year because we got to give it time to get established. I was able to lift a really large root ball with it, but still, I want to give it plenty of time to put energy into the roots. You never want to over harvest plants when they've been battered by anything particularly. So I'm just gonna trim out these stems that don't look good and leave everybody else alone. This guy's bent, but he may come back, we'll see. I'm pretty sure that this is also a flower. Yeah, it is. Okay. They seem to have a slightly larger flower collection than usual. But this poor plant has been unhappy for a couple of years, so it may feel a particular need. I'm hoping that its new location will make it very happy. It has a compatriot over here that was a gift from a friend years ago, and that plant has done awesome over here. So we're hoping that these new guys over here will love it too. Usually, stuff seems to come on in stages, so I'll get a couple flowers, and then a month later, a couple more flowers. This year, it seems like we have a lot more right up front. Darn. Seriously.
Sure, I can do that. Okay. Okay. Sounds like a plan. Bye. Anyway.
So I'm just going to cut out as many of these flowers as I can find. Saves me the work later. Okay, that one is set. Now, let's take a look at the other guys here. This little bitty plant right there broke. He came off of that plant. So he does not have much of a root system. And I am definitely going to prune off the damaged leaves that have sort of croaked on me here. Now I can see that this is going to be a flower, but I'm going to wait till it gets up a bit higher before I try and do anything about it, because I don't want to damage the plant any more than it already is. There, I took off the crummy leaves. That's probably going to be a flower there too. We'll see. I'll watch. That may also decide to flower. So I'm going to leave these guys alone now. This guy gets watered pretty much every morning or evening. I make sure it stays damp over here. And the roof drips here anyway, so that helps a lot. Anytime we have any dew, it drips onto the area right here. That's why we have these rocks, because that's right where the drip edge is. Got one that's going to come up there, but it's still too short. I don't want to risk damaging the crown. Okay, I can see that in the next couple of weeks, this is going to put up a couple of flowers. So I'll just watch. And when it develops flowers, I'll cut them off. Now, like I say, some people really think that they're gorgeous in flower ranging. My goal with rhubarb is to grow rhubarb for the sake of the stems. Now, if you don't know, only the stems on rhubarb can be eaten. Rhubarb stems can be completely green, they can be this color pink, they can be darker pink, and the color has nothing to do with whether the rhubarb is ready to use or not. What they recommend is that you wait until the rhubarb stems are about 10 or 12 inches long. As you can see, this guy is only about 4.5 inches long. Even though rhubarb is technically a vegetable, most people treat it as if it's a fruit. It's used commonly in pies, either with pineapple or strawberry or a combination of the two. It's used in all kinds of chutneys and jams. I've had a really, really good rhubarb apple crisp before. So I am really looking forward to taking advantage of this year. The nice thing about rhubarb is once you've got it situated, you don't really need to do too much. It has shallow roots, so you shouldn't cultivate around it very much. And you just make sure it's watered and give it a little fertilizer. It's good to go. So I hope this inspires you to try rhubarb. The nice thing about it is that once you're established, you can harvest for a couple of months at least. So they figure it'll come up, depending on where you live, of course. Around here, it usually comes up in April, and we can harvest it usually by May. And you can harvest probably May and June. Towards the end of the summer, I would leave it alone completely, because you really want it to have the opportunity to put a lot of energy into the crown of the plant. They're purchased as a crown. I know people are really into seed saving and stuff, but I do not know how good rhubarb is about growing from seeds. There are a lot of plants that you are better off taking a cutting from, and normally rhubarb is divided by cutting the crowns, like this guy here. He broke off when I was transplanting this guy. So now we have free plants. And in a couple of years, with any kind of luck, this will be pretty solid, and it'll be time to take out some of it and move it farther down. We've had very good luck, knock on wood it stays that way, with gophers not particularly liking it. You know, the leaves, the deer and stuff don't touch the leaves because of the oxalic acid. We've never had it chewed on, particularly by rodents or anything else. So that to me is a major bonus point, to have something that the other critters don't like, but that we can get a wonderful fruit-like item to use in our kitchen. So hopefully this inspires you to try growing some perennials like rhubarb. We also have asparagus, and it is truly a joy every spring, to something we really look forward to, that it's one of those early spring vegetables. Yeah, there's times when it's cheaper in the grocery store than it is at home, I guess you'd say. I mean, I'm having to pay for water and stuff to water it, but you know, I know it hasn't been sprayed and it's there, and we don't pick it until it's really ready and it's just the way we like, and then we've got it. So until next time, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you can see what else we're doing around the homestead, because there's lots going on this spring. And take care. Bye.